coming up. From the hour mark in this movie, my reproductive organs were tying themselves voluntarily in knots. I'm a simple spooky lady. I see Shawnee Smith in something and I watch it, which is exactly what happened when I saw the trailer for The Others, which is a horror thriller that I have seen nobody else talk about. And I now need to know why nobody else is talking about this movie. But if you don't know anything about The Other from 2025, let me quickly fill you in. The Other from 2025 is a horror thriller. After years of infertility, Robin and Daniel adopt a mute orphan with a dark past. As her behaviour becomes more and more unsettling, the couple soon discover that an evil force has invaded their home and taken hold of their family. If you're new here, I'm Hannah, I go by Hordes Online, and I am the head of the Horde here on my channel, Hordes of Horror. And if you're not new, welcome back! I talk about horror movies here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays. But as always, when it comes to watching movies that I have never seen before, I'm now going to go and watch The Other off camera. So that way, if you two decide that you want to watch this horror thriller about a sinister force trying to infiltrate a new family unit, nothing will be spoilt for you, because nobody wants to watch a movie that you've just watched somebody else watch from start to finish, because then you're going to know exactly what happens. And I keep it spoiler free here on my channel, because nobody, and I mean nobody, likes spoilers. I don't wanna have kids. I don't have crotch goblins. I don't want crotch goblins. And all I can say about this movie is if I didn't already have this mindset that I didn't want them, absolutely hell not after watching this film. So let's start with the plot, like we always do. The movie focuses on Robin and Daniel, who adopt a orphan girl called Cecilia into their new home. Robin has had problems in the past with infertility, and as soon as this new little girl turns up, things start happening within their home. They have a neighbour who is played by Shawnee Smith, who has a daughter who is possibly the best thing in this entire movie, but I'll get on to her in a minute. But there is something sinister moving itself and lurking in the shadows of this house. And throughout the movie, you find out about this little girl's history and what this thing actually is. And like I said, if I didn't already, if I hadn't decided I didn't want kids, this movie would absolutely confirm this movie, because there is a lot to do with pregnancy in this movie. And I mean a lot. And if you are somebody who is possibly triggered by the topics of miscarriage and that side of pregnancy, maybe check trigger warnings for this one, because there's a lot of that as well going on in this movie. This is very much a movie of two halves. The first hour, I would say, of this movie is definitely a 2.5 stars. It's a very sort of slow burn. It's not showing you any of its cards at this point. It's keeping everything to itself. And the second it hits the hour mark, it becomes a 3.5 star movie. The last 20 minutes of this movie are absolutely wild. And it's definitely worth sticking through the plot of this movie for the second half of this movie, because if the whole movie had been like the second half of this movie, you would have been looking at a 3.5, possibly a 4-star film. That's how big a difference the two halves of this movie are.
Choices.
I will willingly and openly admit that I have a fear of pregnancy. Not pregnant women. If you're pregnant and you want to have kids, it's love that for you. You go ahead and have your children. But for me personally, the idea of carrying a parasite that is feeding off of me for that long before birthing out a crotch goblin is absolutely terrifying. To me, birth is just like the Alien films. When the sort of chest bursters, just that, but not through your chest. It's out of you, yeah. From the hour mark in this movie, my reproductive organs were tying themselves voluntarily in knots. Absolutely not. Thank you very much. No, sir. No, no, no. Which also makes me grateful that in the Russian roulette that is life, it was myself that got PCOS, because if somebody else had got this and they wanted kids, I can imagine that would be pretty grim. But this, oh, no, no, no. No, if you don't do pregnancy and the whole idea of giving birth massively weirds you out like myself, this movie will absolutely get under your skin, because no, no. Praise the Lord, he's coming down to earth. And besides the pregnancy plot, there is obviously this like sinister force that is weaving its way through this family, but next door happens to live Shawnee Smith and her daughter Fiona. Now, Fiona is the best thing in this entire damn movie. Fiona is played by an actress who has Down syndrome, which we love diverse casting. And Fiona has this sort of like psychic ability slash like sixth sense in a way, where she can sense that this like entity and demonic force is doing its thing, and she keeps giving like little heads up about things. She becomes really good friends with the little girl in this movie that moves in to the house that this like force is following. But yeah, Fiona's the best thing in this movie, and she like some of the things that she does are just a little bit unhinged, but in the best kind of way. And isn't that the best kind of unhinged? I don't like the fact that this is a horror thriller. Put you off watching this, because let me tell you that the violence in this movie is great. Like, there is some incredibly gory moments in the last 20 minutes, and there's a lot of blood from the hour mark in this. Some of the things that this movie doesn't shy away from, and I'm trying to keep this as spoiler-free as friendly, but you obviously know it's going to deal with the topic of miscarriage, because I mentioned if you are sensitive to this. Some of the stuff that happens in this is just, it's wild. Like, there's a reason that I put on the thumbnail that this is a story about psychics and power drills. And it's not just power drills, it is sledgehammers, it's hammers, like, there's knives. So much happens in the second half. And this is why I'm saying, I wish that this movie had been the second half, but all the way through, because the first half is such a slow burn. But when it flicks that switch at the hour mark, it's such an interesting movie. It pulls you in enough in the first half that when absolutely everything kicks off, you can't look away. Like, so much is happening. Like, wild ride.
Scooby-Doo, take note.
This is such a difficult movie to describe because there are so many things that I want to talk about that would absolutely be 100% a spoiler. So all I can really say about this one is I think that you should just go and watch this one. It's kind of, I'm going to go out there and say it's kind of a little bit of a hidden gem. And I think that those who like this movie are going to absolutely love this movie just because of how unhinged the second half is. I am Denard. But in the end, I am actually going to give The Other from 2025 a 3 out of 5 stars. It was between a 3 and a 3.5, and I'm not about to start giving quarter and 3/4 star ratings here. But I do think the first half is just a little bit slow. It is a very slow burn at the very beginning, and the second half is just, it's so much stronger. Like, stick with this one. And I'm going to say, like, I do think people should go out and actively seek this one out because, again, I've never heard anybody talk about this movie since it was released this year. It deals incredibly well with the topics of infertility, fostering of children, and how these two things can have a head-on collision when other events come into play. I can't say what that is because it's a big spoiler, but this is me saying I do think that you should go and watch this movie. But my opinion isn't the only one that matters, which begs the question, should you personally watch The Other from 2025? If you like your horror movies flavoured with fertility problems, fostering of children, sinister dark supernatural forces, psychic powers, many different tools being used as weapons, or anything that is listed here, then you will probably like The Other from 2025. So there you have it, my initial thoughts and my review for my first time watching The Other from 2025. If you've also seen this movie, I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on it down in the comment section down below. And if you are interested in watching this one, I'll leave a link as always to justwatch.com so you can find out where it is streaming in your country. If you would like to know where else you can find me, I am also over on Instagram and Letterboxd at HordesOfHorror, where I post every single horror movie that I watch, not just the ones that I talk about here on YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, I'll be back on Friday, and this time it is a follow-up to a video that came last Friday. Last Friday, I reacted to 1-star reviews for some of my favourite horror movies. So this time, I am exposing myself in a way because I am reacting to 5/10-star reviews for horror movies that I hate. So this is going to be an interesting one. So until next time, bye. A special thank you though to my regenerators here within the Horde for their support over on Patreon.